Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for the final game of day one in Dubai, New Zealand versus South Africa. Now, both of these sides have already confirmed their spots in the quarterfinals. They are both undefeated up to this stage in Dubai, winning 2 games from 2, but they both want to go into the quarters undefeated. New Zealand's team sheet, it will be Scott Curry, Tim Mickelson. Also, they are gone with Narohi McGarvey Black, Leroy Carter, Moses Leo, Player Cook Savage, and also Finney. They just moved it, but it was Anganofo as the last man there in the New Zealand team sheet for South Africa. Krobela. They've also gone with Ryan Oosterhuizen, Zane Davids, Selvin Davids, who's been phenomenal throughout the sevens. They just got rid of it, but I also saw Shilton van Veek. De Wald Human, I think, is off the bench, so Gerdold will be starting. And who else they got? They have only put it up for a couple seconds, then they throw it back down. But I'm excited for this game. We already know that there is a spot in an important matchup. Someone from these two sides, I believe, will be playing the USA. I think the other have to play Fiji. So 2 relatively tricky games around the corner, but should be very entertaining indeed. And morning, Hamish says, Natikahu, welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing extremely well. Of course, 5:45 a.m. here in New Zealand. It's going to be the last live stream of day one, but we are back for all the quarterfinals. It's kicked off long from Selvin Davids. We are underway. Now, South Africa have incorporated quite a prominent kicking game throughout their last 3 matches. But New Zealand are still being opting to go for those running meters. They did have a very close game up against the Samoans, which they were able to win in golden point time. Moses Leo inside. Whoa, here we go. Already the Kiwis on attack. Finally offload to Player Cook Savage will score it within 20 seconds. The New Zealanders strike first. And that is already half as many tries as they got in their last game up against Samoa. So perhaps that was the wake-up call that they needed. Although you cannot underestimate the Blitzboks. They will be back. They will be dangerous. But just breaking through the tackles there, down the wing. 2 missed in a row, left the opportunity. I'm not sure the Blitzboks Big Guns returning. Or I'm not sure with the Blitzboks Big Guns returning. And Kikaha says, Blues, no, you need to rest, Hamish. It's good to see you again, tough. Says Mikhail. And there as well. Yeah, the eyes are quite bloodshot, I'll be honest. I've been up for around 20-something hours, but we're still going strong. Sevens is always one of those ones that are just back-to-back-to-back action. 7-0 now in favour of New Zealand. Sweet, says Tar there. Nicely claimed by Shilton van Veek. Getting ripped at while he was on the ground by the looks of it. New Zealand trying to play that real physical game of rugby sevens. Player Cook Savage has done well to roll out of that breakdown. Gerdold goes back across to Ryan Oosterhuizen. They say it goes backwards. So he is going to be able to continue. I grew up playing rugby with my son in Kaitaia. Says Naitikahu, that's passed out wide. Space for days. And Scott Curry with the netball pass on the inside to Narohi McGarvey Black. And that is going to be the second try for New Zealand within the first 2 minutes. This is not how I expected this game to go. Just New Zealand's physicality there and the breakdown. Morena's morning said Natikahu, it certainly is. I'm trying to remember what good evening is. I feel like we never learnt good evening at school because we were always there in the morning, so they say Morena. And go New Zealand, take your revenge. Says DC will win. Of course, both of these sides will be making their way through to the quarterfinals no matter how this result finishes. But New Zealand will be very happy to have 2 early tries in the first 3 minutes of this match. Kicked off again. Travelling the 10 metres. Nicely taken there by Selvin Davids. It's a tackle. New Zealand do have to release him. Mickelson holding him all day. Not sure why he was not releasing him. Pretty confusing from the veteran. But Selvin Davids trying to take the tap and go as soon as physically possible. Wants to keep that momentum flowing as well as he can. Like this, like that. There we go. Now taking the quick tap. Christy Hrobla going off to Selvin Davids. who I still feel is one of the absolute keys for the Blitzboks in 2023 and 24 season. Christy Hruvla close to the touchline, taken down by Tim Mickelson. Counter ruck there from New Zealand. They don't get the ball. Ryan Oosterhuizen, wide cut out pass. Now the space is starting to open up on the outside for the Blitzboks, and blitzing down the wing, it's Nokia, and he will score the try there, getting it back into it for the Blitzboks. Can't afford to leave space on the outside, and Nokia, his third try in the Dubai Sevens. He actually got a double in the game up against the Canadians, but Scott Curry, like I've said, caught in no man's land, ran forward miles. There, Nokia just finds his stride, and he was not going to be stopped. Our chance for South Africa to be able to convert. And it's good. So that is going to make the score now 12 points to 7. 5 points splitting these two teams. I have a feeling it could go down to the wire. Of course, I don't want to jinx it, seeing as we did see a couple early tries from New Zealand. And South Africa being able to fire back, although Christy Hruvla might have ankle injury here, which would not be good. And what is New Zealand's trying to prove by scoring so early? That's probably revenge from World Cup final, says Monet Lagrange. Although they just started with so much intensity, the Kiwis. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. How much were you depressed when New Zealand lost Rugby World Cup final? If you ask, I was so much. CSDC, so I was fine afterwards, which I think a lot of people found surprising. But because we called every game of the World Cup and we called them all from an impartial view, it kind of, I guess, desensitizes you from supporting teams, if that makes sense. It sounds like a really weird thing to say, but yeah, like it was one of those ones that, you know, watching it and just enjoying both sides in all games was just a lot of fun for that World Cup. It was a bit of hard work and the breakdown from Zane Davids, but doesn't get the turnover. Now McCarvey Black goes across to the Blitzboks Savage. Waikato pass to Moses Leo. Thought about going on the outside. Missed tackle from Gerdold. Unfortunately, not the first one that he has missed today. He's had a couple men slipping off him. Now, Scott Curry. Out wide to Leroy Carter. Tackled by Nokia. McCarvey Black. New Zealand still inside of their 22 with 90 seconds to go. Big shot from Gerdold, but the offload's still coming away to Moses Leo. Stays just inside of the field. Going off to the left now. Now Roy McCarvey Black. Mickelson off to Curry. Offload to Mickelson. A lot of age and experience between those two. Now Leroy Carter steps around. Referee has gone down. But Leroy Carter's still going. Moves up to 22 metres out. I don't even know if the referee was clipped by the New Zealander there or whether it was South Africa. Now to Blitzboks Savage. Sells the dummy. Thought about risking the offload. That was actually very smart to not go for it. Now Moses Leo pins the ears back. Reaches out and scores. I wish that guy scored the ball higher. So it could have given us some chances at the Rugby World Cup final. Says DC, but Moses Leo, that is actually his first try in Dubai. Be a very important game to score in as well. Just a missed tackle from Davids. Oosterhuizen was on his back right where he needed to be, but he couldn't stop him from forcing his way over. Just that little bit too strong. Moses Leo, little celebration, not a huge one. That kick has gone over now. 5 seconds remaining in this first half, and New Zealand now leading 19 points to 7. Yeah, Ricardo Duarte went flying through. I think Ryan Oosterhuizen ended up cleaning him up. I would honestly trade this match for the Rugby World Cup 2023 final. Says DC Warren. Now that's a bit of a mistake from New Zealand. They've tried to kick it just the 10 metres, and now it's given South Africa the quick tap on the halfway line, which in fact they are going to go for the scrum. So it's a very good counter-attacking opportunity for the Blitzboks here. Come play rugby league, heavy hitters. I'll stay in Union softer, says Blues Nate there. currently live, the quarterfinals, right, this is actually what we need to see. It would be New Zealand versus Australia, Ireland versus Fiji, USA versus South Africa, and Samoa versus Argentina. That would be how the draw sits. I think the World Cup, I would have done more for the South African nations than I would have done for us. I would have brought you guys together. Says Naitikahu, ball on the inside, knock on from Gerald. And that is now going to be halftime in this contest. 12 points to 7. Oh, sorry, 19 points to 7. A 12-point lead for New Zealand here. I think the golden era of New Zealand has come to an end of rugby. Says DC Warren, and thank you, says Robert. Yeah, great start to the match for New Zealand. Blitzboks firing back well. Although something that we haven't seen much of in this game compared to some of the past has been that kicking behind. They tried it multiple times in their last contest up against the Canadians, and they were scoring tries for fun. They did it up against Samoa to a relatively effective nature, but they haven't actually attempted it up against New Zealand as of yet. So I'm wondering whether or not they are maybe just, I don't know if it's respecting New Zealand too much to try it, or whether it's they just haven't seen the space. Maybe New Zealand are covering it better. So we're going to talk about World Cup, New Zealand Speak America's Cup, where the big dog play. Says Blues, not an average. I hope you reach 100k subs next year. Says DC will win. I mean, it would be quite the monumental achievement if we were to do so. But I've always said it, whether we've got 5 people watching or 5,000, like, we are still here. We are still doing the streams each and every weekend. Dubai Sevens this weekend. Next weekend, we've got the Champions Cup. We've also, alongside that, got the Cape Town Sevens. We're going to be covering as much of both of those competitions as physically possible. And yeah, the sooner that this one ends, the sooner we will know when the schedule is kind of taking place for Cape Town, because we don't really know the time zone as of yet. We know that, of course, it will be the middle of the night for us here in New Zealand, but yeah, we're used to that by now. Are we covered the last test of New Zealand-Bangladesh? Probably not, unfortunately. I would have liked to cover a lot more of that first test, but yeah, unfortunately I just missed a couple of the crucial days, and it didn't feel right to jump in kind of during the random times. Those men are wearing their budgie smugglers. They are having a lot of fun in the stands by the looks of it. Those people are just throwing beer everywhere. Now it's going to be kicked off by, I believe it is New Zealand. Yes, it is. Kicking that one off. We are back underway. Ryan Oosthuizen. Going off to the left, Shilton Van Wyk, a man who we didn't see anywhere near enough of throughout that first half. Selvin Davids having a bit of a skip and a go by himself. Now big break for Impi Visa, tackled by Tim Mickelson. Selvin Davids gets it out of that breakdown. South Africa still plenty of time to be able to work and get themselves tries. Ronald Brown, he's an electric stepper. He's being tackled well. It's going to be play on. Moses Leo. Now we're only 22 metres out from their line now. Scott Curry going off to the side. Leroy Carter with a bump off the tackle of Ronald Brown, still driving the legs, but that allows Zane Davids to get over the ball, and the Blitzboks get themselves the penalty. And don't forget 28-0, and New Zealand don't give South Africa any respect. We're thrashing South Africa 57-0. Says Morna Lagrange. Jeez, that was a little while ago, wasn't it? That one took place. Okay, looks like South Africa are going to take the quick tap again. Ryan Oosthuizen. They need 2 converted tries to get the lead here. 1 converted try and 1 unsuccessful converted try. Man, that was close for Selvin Davids to make his way through. Have you tried British fish and chips? I have not. I've tried like New Zealand fish and chips, but I don't think they're quite the same as the British version. Now Shilton Van Wyk goes across to Impi Visa by a Cook Savage. Going to make a big shot. It's going to become a maul here. Oh, the ball's come free. New Zealand caught napping there just a little bit out for the line. Brilliant tackle from Leroy Carter, who slams him down. Shilton Van Wyk goes to Ronald Brown. He will be through. And it's the try for South Africa. New Zealand making the mistake, committing too many men to that rolling maul, and because of it, the Blitzboks are able to do very nicely, and they strike well. The first time I watched the test match for cricket, says Robert Vale. As well, Ronald Brown breaking through. He scored quite a few tries throughout his Blitzboks career, and I expect a lot more from him this season. The kick has gone over, and now that is going to make the score 19 points to 14. We have got there, you don't show no respect by going easy on a team. Exactly right. At the end of the day, sides just want to go out there and play their absolute best rugby against each other. And I feel like that is why that New Zealand-South Africa rivalry is so special. Because any game that they take to the field, it could go either way. But at the end of the day, they're going to shake hands. And, they're just going to appreciate how strong the other side are. Sounds like another injury here for South Africa. Hopefully they will be all right. I think Christy Rovela has made his way from the field. That was from the first half injury. Now 4 minutes remaining here in this match. It is the ultimate test. South Africa versus New Zealand, going for the little grabber in behind. The bump and run, as they called it. And it's going to be regathered by South Africa. A very cheeky tactic, but it's worked out. Selvin Davis tackled illegally by New Zealand. Takes the quick tap. Now finds his pass to Ronald Brown. Through they go, the Blitzboks. And Mochale does score the try. And they are now in the lead. Just like that. Beautifully done, Mochale. Right place, right time. New Zealand sleeping when it came to the kickoff. South Africa able to find the gap that they were after. And from there, it was just easy, smooth sailing for the Blitzboks to get over the try line. That 46-40 game was in the 2000s, so that kick is successful. 21 points to 19 now in favour of South Africa. With 3 minutes left on the clock, they've picked the perfect time to start firing. Now, if the score remains this way, it will be South Africa versus Australia in the first match, and it will be New Zealand versus USA in the third. So I guess now people have to ask themselves, would they rather play Australia or would you rather play USA? Because those are the two options here. Which way will it go? Okay, let's go. Game on, lads. It's kicked off. South Africa retained their kickoff again. I think now Roy McGarvey-Black maybe tackled off the ball. He's starting to ask that question, but it is going to be the knock-on against him. It hit his hand. He's not too happy about it either, but 2 minutes 30 remaining now on the clock. Oh. Yeah. That's it now. Roy McGarvey-Black's hands. And he has now been taken off the field. South Africa looking for their fourth consecutive Dubai Sevens title this weekend is a stat that's just come up. And if they can get it right, it'll be a hard side to stop. Ronald Brown now to put the ball in for the South Africans. It's a little bit shaky with how they were getting that ball out, but now Grisold. In fact, it's going to be a Roscoe Spickman. That's a poor kick from him. A little bit uncharacteristic from the great veteran. Now fired out wide for the Kiwis to have another little bit of an attack. Now in their game against Samoa, they were able to win it in the final moments of the contest. In almost extra time. This game, up against South Africa, with 100 seconds remaining, could be a little bit similar. Kulia Rokalisoa gets through one tackle attempt. Still going. Passes on the outside to Sione Molia, who gets it back to Rokalisoa. Great body position there from Tupaia Cook-Savage to protect it. Sione Molia, almost a bounce pass there. Now Mickelson. Space is still there for New Zealand. They don't want to get isolated, though. They need to add those men to the breakdown to protect the ball. Ronald Brown goes through, but doesn't get that turnover. And this is where no panic can come in for New Zealand. Rokalisoa just taking a bit more time to decide which way he wants to pass this ball. Sione Molia, forward pass on the inside with 1 minute remaining. Ronald Brown clapping in his face, letting him know all about it there. Now 1 minute remaining. who's played better overall this weekend, USA or Australia. I would say that the USA have been the strongest side. They've actually won 2 out of their 3 games. They only lost to Fiji. They beat France and they beat Great Britain. Whereas Australia, they have won 1 of their games. They've lost 2. They lost to Argentina. They lost to Ireland. So it's one of those ones that, like, both sides have the potential of beating you on their day. But you'd probably prefer to face Australia in the quarterfinals. So at this stage, if it sits the way that this score is, South Africa will have that game up against the Aussies. That's going to be a free kick now to South Africa. I think they'll try and slow this down and then go for another scrum eventually. Oh, looks like they might actually take this quick tap. Nope, now they call for the scrum. Used up those few extra seconds. Ronald Brown, big smile on his face. He knows that this is very strategic use of the time. And I'm late. No worries at all. How are the Aussies doing? So they are sitting on 4 points in their group. So they've made it through to the quarterfinals. They are one of the teams who finished 3rd in their group, but still make their way through. The ball is fed in by South Africa. And that will be the penalty to South Africa. Ronald Brown once again clapping at the Kiwis. That is now, oh yeah, Rockily Soa getting in his face as well. That is more than likely going to be the end of the game. They take the tap. Selvin Davids kicks the ball into touch. And South Africa have won this game 21 points to 19. They have booked themselves a spot in the semi-finals, or the quarterfinals, my apologies. They will be up against none other than the Australians. There is also Ireland versus Fiji on the cards. And then alongside that, USA versus the New Zealanders and Samoa versus Argentina. Some epic action coming tomorrow, and it's going to be absolutely awesome to see how it goes. We are going to be live on the channel covering those games as well. Well done, South Africa, says Natikahu. And thank you, Hamish. And great commentary. Thanks, mate. Really entertaining rugby. South Africa has done it again, says Molly Lagrange. And I play rugby. I also play lock, prop, and hooker, says Luandol there. So he's a very busy player by the sounds of it, all throughout that 4-pack. And I Hamish, thanks as always. Says 123MS in there as well. But yeah, thank you all very much for tuning in. I hope you did enjoy the coverage. Like I said, the game tomorrow taking place, it is going to be South Africa versus Australia. How are Fiji going? Tosa Fiti Tosa. So they have won 2 of their games, I believe. Yep, 1-2. In fact, I think they've now won 3. Yes, they lost badly to Great Britain. They have won 2. So they are sitting in 2nd place in their group. Or also, they will be playing up against Ireland in the 2nd quarterfinal in the rankings. But for anyone wondering about the times of the matches for the men's, it is going to be 7:58. I believe that is going to be the matchup between South Africa and Australia. So that is about 8:58 a.m. South African time tomorrow morning. The next game's at 8:20. I believe that is Fiji Island. Game after that, New Zealand versus the USA. And then the game after that, 9:04 p.m. is when we see Samoa taking on the Argentines. In the rankings department, the first game is at 11 p.m. New Zealand time. But we will have them all scheduled ready to go in the very near future, so you know exactly when the games are taking place. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all tomorrow for some more of the Sevens action.